In today's video, we're going to be covering the key testimony that wrapped up in week 2 of the case against Erin Patterson's lethal luncheon. And let me tell you what, the tea or mushrooms or mushroom tea, something, I don't know, is piping hot, so buckle up.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad, sipping from the cup, hey, hey.
Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. Psh, that ain't no sofa. Psh, but there's probably a bunch of them back there because it's a green screen. Psh, my name's Paul. Now, y'all, look, if you're new to the channel, my name is Paul. If you're not new to the channel, well, guess what? My name's still Paul. Now, we're going to be continuing to cover, I should say, the Erin Patterson Luncheon from Hell case. This is in Australia. She is currently in trial right now. She stands accused of taking the life of 3 people and the attempted murder of another person who did survive. Charges were dropped against her in relation to her trying to take her husband's life, her estranged husband, I should say. I'm just covering testimony that sticks out to me. There's several resources and daily podcasts of people who are actually there and whatnot. Obviously, I ain't in Australia. Okay. So I'm just kind of going over the same stuff and just picking out pieces that really stick out to me. So that's it. So let's go ahead and talk about the first person on the stand. That was Cindy Monroe. Now, at the time of the poisoning, she was the deputy director of nursing at the Leongatha Hospital. Now, she would testify that Erin was stressed, obviously, right? And said multiple times, I don't want any medical help. I don't want this. I don't want that. Now, Cindy would also say that, she expressed the urgency of getting the kids examined. If you remember, Erin's like, I don't want to bother the children. I don't want to upset them. And they're like, girl, the kids are going to be dead, okay? So not just the one doctor who we talked about in the last video, but numerous people are telling her this. Okay, so remember how we talked also last time where Erin was like, I scraped the poison mushrooms off. Okay, I scraped it off. Well, Cindy's like, I told her that can get into the meat. It can get seeped into it. And so even if they ate that you scraped it off, it could be contaminated by the death caps. Cindy would say that this is when Erin starts getting teary-eyed, worried. And I'm going to quote her. Cindy said that Erin said, I don't want the children involved in this. Okay, in this, okay? So do with what you will about what in this means, right? Now, obviously, Erin doesn't get her way. The kids are ultimately brought in to get tested, and clearly they're fine, right? Because it is my opinion that Erin made, which we know that she made several different beef Wellingtons. I do not believe that she tried to poison the children whatsoever or herself. I think that they had completely, benign beef Wellingtons, okay? Now, let's go ahead and talk about the next witness for the prosecution. And that's going to be Senior Constable Erin Patterson-Villobus. I think I'm saying that name right. Villobus. Now, he was the first person that went to Erin's home to do a welfare check after she hop, skipped, and jumped out of the hospital talking about, I need to go do this or that before I come in here with death cap poisoning, right? Completely bizarre. Now, unbeknownst to him, Erin had returned to the hospital, which she had said she would do. So I'll give her that, right? She was like, I need to go out and do stuff for the kids and the animals and I'll be back. And she did, but it was hours later. I personally think she was out destroying evidence and kind of preparing things for what played out to play out. Dr. Webster, who we heard from earlier, asked the constable to try and obtain any remnants of the beef Wellington to test it, right? Now, again, I'll give her this credit. Erin was totally cooperative. She's like, the gauge code is this. And she directed him to go look for the leftovers in basically a trash bin or whatever, and then a brown Woolworths bag or the indoor bin. So she gave him all these areas where they could find it. Now, the constable would tell the jurors on stand, and I'm going to quote him, they were underneath 2 other brown bags and an outdoor bin, and then the Woolworths bag contained 1 and a bit beef Wellington. Now, Tanya Patterson, this is Erin's ex-sister-in-law, was also on the stand. Now, Tanya would visit Erin in the hospital while she was being kept for observation. And she would tell the court that Erin asked about how the lunch guests were doing and replied, I told her that they were going downhill quickly and she knew that Don and Gail were in a coma. And I said that that was the latest, and if she wanted to know more, she needed to wait for Simon to tell her. Now, Tanya would also say that during her visit, Dr. Connor McDermott, who who's a toxicologist, comes into Erin's room, and they indicate, this is another part that's like really suspicious to me, or just kind of like, what were you thinking? But they indicated, like, you know, Erin's like, hey, look, it's fine for you to stay in here while I talk to the doctor. Tanya tells the court, and I'm gonna quote her, she asked the toxicologist, how's my potassium? And the doctor replied that her levels were fine, and for someone who had diarrhea, it wasn't as low as they would have expected it to be. Dr. McDermott would also take the stand and basically like echoed the same testimony. So pause there for a second. This is the part where when I think about like Erin uncovering her tracks, and I'm just like, why would you let a witness be in the room to hear this information? You can see how like Erin wasn't swift at like covering up this stuff, because I would have been like, no, I need my privacy with the doctor. Could you step out? And then when she stepped out and came back in, I'm like, oh, it's dire. We're talking elbow cancer. We're talking the runs. We're talking all sorts of stuff, okay? She said it'll probably happen in a couple hours once you're gone, but nonetheless, we should be worried. You know what I mean? Like, I would completely ham that up, right? Now, a paramedic would get up on the stand next. Now, she transported Erin to the larger hospital, Menage, and she was aware that she was among like the 5 who were suffering from this mushroom poisoning, right? So when she and another paramedic, Darcy Cummings, arrived at the Leongatha hospital to transfer Patterson, they both observed her, and I'm going to quote, walking with an IV pole after going to the toilet. She appeared well, was alert, had normal skin color, and her vitals remained consistent. Now, the drive was like 90 minutes long, right? So the paramedics told Erin, look, girl, if you need to go to the bathroom with the diarrheas, just let us know. We'll make a bathroom stop. She never asked them to pull over, though. Now, she did mention having a headache, and she called, the paramedic would call a poison device line to help prescribe a painkiller for Erin. And the reasoning behind this was because the typical treatment could add additional stress to her liver if she was really suffering from death cap poisoning. So remember that this, like, it attacks your liver. It's really bad for your liver. So that's why they're kind of being super extra with that. Now they end up giving her fentanyl through her nose, and that was effective. The medic was asked about the defendant's demeanor, and wait for it. Okay, she said, and I'm going to quote her, Erin appeared very calm and nonchalant. I know. That word is like making its way through true crime, right? She also added that she was even chatty at times, and overall it was an uneventful journey. Here's the thing. Literally can't roll my eyes hard enough. It's just, I would have been like this. I would have made it out of the hospital parking lot. I would have been like, you need to pull over. You need to pull over. You need to pull over. I'm getting ready to blow this place up. I mean, and then we would have done that, and then I'd been like, I'm just running in the bushes. We can't even make it to the store. There's no time for that. Not Erin. She's gonna play it off. So the last witness on day 7 is Simon and Erin's daughter. Okay. Now, for legal reasons, obviously she can't be named, right? Her testimony was in the form of an interview that she gave to investigators like a couple of weeks after the lethal luncheon. Now, at the time, she's only like 9 years old or something like that. Now, some highlights from this conversation with the detectives, I'm just going to go over them. So, number 1, when asked if she'd ever gone mushroom picking with her mom, she's like, no. She also answered no when asked if they'd ever gone to an Asian grocery store together. Now, she would also recall that knowing that her mom was having family over for lunch, and she, her brother, and their friend were going to be going to the movies, so the guests could discuss adult stuff. This was how Erin set it up so that she could talk to the adults about her cancer diagnosis, and the kids didn't need to be there. So this was her way to get the kids out of the house. The daughter would also say that the day after lunch, her mom mentioned that she was feeling sick with diarrhea and a sore tummy. She also would comment that mom was feeling too sick to go to church. Now, when asked, she replied that she'd seen her mom go to the toilet like 10 times, she said, throughout the day. They had the leftovers from lunch, steak, mashed potatoes, and beans, and she was asked to describe the plates at her mom's house, and she replied they're just round plates. There's a black and red one, and there's some white ones, and I think they all have like the colors that we have. Now, the detective would also ask if their mother ate dinner, and she replied, yeah, she ate the same of us. Mom wasn't really hungry, so she didn't eat all of it. Now, the Australia Broadcasting Corporation would report that Erin broke down and was visibly upset on Thursday as the court was shown her daughter's police interview. She stood in the court dock with tears in her eyes, looking up and quietly saying a few words to herself as the jury was led out of the room. Now, here's the thing on that right there. So one of the key things that really sticks out to me with this is the fact that she's like, well, mom still had lunch and mom did this. Think about, again, and I'll ask you to do this in all these videos, look at this through the lens of how the other people from the luncheon were. And Erin's over here running errands, eating food, doing this, talking about, oh, my stomach kind of feels weird. Absolutely not, right? So on day 8, the Patterson son would do testimony basically, and it was another interview type situation. He's 14 years old when he was first interviewed about the lethal luncheon. Now, he would begin by saying that he was like 7 years old when his parents separated. And he explained why, or how they would like spend, weekends with mom and weekends with dad and the whole 9 yards, right? Now, he also went into details on the parents' relationship. Now, he would also testify that he was aware of the luncheon and that, his sister and friend or whatever, they're going to the movies, right? Now, the morning after the lethal luncheon, he basically relayed pretty similar facts that were given by his sisters. Now, there was a couple of noteworthy details that were thrown in, so let's just go over them. So I'm going to quote here. Mom was usually very happy to see me, but that day she was a bit quieter. He said he did not notice her going to the toilet at any point that morning or the night before. He also noted that his mother insisted on taking him to his flying lesson, despite claiming that she had diarrhea. Now, he said that she didn't stop to use the bathroom at any point during this drive to go do that. And he also described stopping for food on the way home. And he said like 5 or 10 minutes or whatever the stop was, right? But that she never needed to use the bathroom even while they were stopped. Now, he would later say that when they got home, she went straight to the bathroom. Now, he also told investigators that he ate the leftovers, and he said it was one of the best meals I've ever had, right? Everybody talked about how great this meal was, and I bet she's over there just like gloating in that. I can just see it, right? But anyways, so now when they asked about the meal's preparation, he was like, I think she cooked it all on Saturday and heated it up for us on Sunday. Now, he would also reiterate what his sister said about how, the mom didn't finish the meal Sunday evening and that whole 9 yards, right? Now, the son also would say he had never seen her use this dehydrator and that he never foraged mushrooms with his mom. He would also recall having a fond memory of a discussion about wild mushrooms with his mom while they visited Corumbura Botanical Gardens around like mid 2020, something like that. Now, he would also say that we stumbled across wild mushroom and mom took a picture of it. Now, a reporter from the Australian Broadcast Corporation said, and I'll quote, Erin Patterson was going through a range of emotions during her son's evidence. At times, she nodded along as he recounted details about the times that certain things happened or how the house was arranged. At other moments, she appeared upset, swallowing hard and dabbing her eyes with a tissue. So, the kids getting up there, and the kids' testimony, to me, some of the biggest things that stuck out was just the normalcy that took place after the day of this, right? Because you would think that seeing the guests would not fall ill and all this kind of stuff, it's like, okay, she's still doing normal stuff while people are literally in the process of dying. So this is huge to me. It's also very clear that, yes, she made separate beef Wellingtons. I mean, the kids are saying they ate this, right? But they never got poisoned. So, there's that. My heart breaks for the kids. I can't fathom what they've gone through. I mean, they're obviously a little bit older now. I can't imagine like the scary process of having to be interviewed, all this. I mean, look at how much of a tabloid fodder this has become. I don't know what their situation is over there with their dad, or if what tabloids are like. I'd be curious to know from y'all. I mean, do y'all have like magazines in the grocery store, things of this nature and whatnot? Because I'm just imagining, how would they not know the stories going around at this point about their mom, right? And right, wrong, or indifferent, like to them, that's their mom. So that part's really heartbreaking to me, because I'm just like, oh my God. And are they getting picked on at school? Like, I just hope that they're making it the best that they can through this, because I cannot fathom, right? So, Erin sitting here crying, and talking about, I don't want the children involved. I just feel like whether she meant for this to happen, not to be as big or whatever, it's like the kids are now involved. And I would like to think that she has some level of, oh, what have I done? What have I done, I didn't want the kids involved in this. You know, and whether that's just selfish or what, I don't know, right? But nonetheless, it's interesting to hear. I do think there's some level of awareness on Erin's part of like, you know, my God, like the kids are involved at this point, right? Anyways, that is it. Let me know what you think, what your opinions are down in the comment section below. If you're still watching, I greatly appreciate it. If you could drop some little sofas off while you are in the comment section. For myself, Rosco and Spirit, Bo and Luke, and the rest of the Sofa Squad, we need them while we're out foraging mushrooms and whatnot, okay? And until we all gather around the comment section and that sofa to forage some more mushrooms and sofas, I'll see y'all soon. I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. And then like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Rosco on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.